I got posted to MAGA Twitter and 4 million people viewed it, and one of them just came to my work and threatened me. Said my whole government name. Now what?
1 week since the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk, and more stories like this are coming out. It's not only the high-profile media figures like Matthew Dowd at MSNBC, Karen Attiah, the Washington Post reporter, or most recently on Late Night, Jimmy Kimmel with ABC. It is lots of regular people's stories. I want to share some of these here.
We're all finding out apparently through news articles now that Chaya Raichik, the Libs of TikTok lady, has published a de facto hit list, who she's using under the moniker of Charlie's murderers. And I am one of the dozen or so people that's on it. And I've been getting a steady flow of death threats pretty much since yesterday for just announcing the fact that Charlie Kirk had been killed. And saying that, he participated in a system and in a societal structure which encouraged violence. And while I don't condone violence, and I'm certainly not celebrating it, I'm not going to mourn with someone who caused so much harm to a community that I'm members of. She apparently has now started a list of people that she says are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and listing their personal information, where they live, where they work, pictures of them and their bios and all this other stuff on this hit list. And I was wondering why people were attacking me for an association that I have because it was wrongly stated on this site. But now I've got to pack bags for my kids and send them away. And here I am, having not celebrated anything, wondering why the fuck I'm involved with it. And this is the far right violent rhetoric that everyone is still talking about because it never stops.
This is Canadian journalist Rachel Gilmore explaining what happened to her. Apparently, the doxing has crossed borders.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and my name is currently first on a website claiming to expose Charlie Kirk's murderers. You might be wondering how I got here. I'm kind of wondering that too. I already told this story to Wired, but let me tell it to you now in my own words, because for the last 2 days, I've been getting messages like this nonstop, claiming to know where I live and saying they're coming for me. Now, what did I say to deserve all of this? Let's go to the website and read the screenshots that they included of me celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. I said I was terrified to think of how far-right fans of Kirk, aching for more violence, could very well turn this into an even more radicalizing moment. Will they now believe their fears have been proven right and feel they have a right to retaliate regardless of who actually was behind the initial shooting? That analysis came from the fact that I am an experienced journalist who has extensively covered right-wing extremism. That's also why, by the way, a lot of people hate me and want to shut me up. And I was immediately proven right. Many far-right personalities.
Yep, immediately proven right. Here's a little comedic break from the heaviness of all this.
This is a fair warning right now. If I don't see you showing enough respect to Robert Redford, I'm calling your boss. I'm getting you fired. I'm having your Blockbuster account terminated. I'm having Netflix send DVDs to your mom. I'm having your left shoes repoed.
Here are a few lawyers weighing in.
Now that it's been taken down, any other ones that pop up will be taken down. And the reason why is because they are breaking federal and most state law when it comes to internet cyberstalking and doxing. If you're someone who just shared your opinion on not having empathy, if you're someone who shared your opinion on, I don't think you should be able to preach hate and expect sympathy from people, or if you're someone who just quoted his own words, because there's always a tweet and there's always a quote from these fucking people, you did nothing wrong. Now, if you're someone who actually called for political violence, can't help you, all right? But if you're someone who said, hey, I don't believe anybody deserves to die this way, but I don't have empathy, you are in the clear, because that is freedom of speech. That is you expressing your opinion. And being doxxed is actually a violation of federal and state fucking law.
Hi, if you're new here, I've gotten a lot of new followers in the last 24 hours, so I just want to give a little introduction about myself. I am a lawyer. I'm barred in 3 states. I work for myself. I have my own law firm. My husband works with me at my law firm. I have been getting so many comments from right-wing grifters trying to report me to people and trying to tag top creators that are apparently going after people for saying things about Charlie Kirk. The thing that I said that they're going after me for is that Charlie Kirk said bad things. I didn't even say what the things were. And they are sicking their dogs on me doxing me, sharing my full name in the comments because I said Charlie Kirk said bad things. I'm ready personally to do something about this because I think it is insane that this group of people is going after people on the internet, doxing them, reporting them to employers, getting them fired, threatening people, threatening me, threatening my husband, threatening my children, threatening my family, threatening my livelihood, which it won't work because no one is going to stop hiring me as an attorney because I said a fact on the internet. I've made several videos in the last 24 hours kind of making light of it because it's funny and silly in a way, but it's also incredibly dangerous. And I'm ready to do something about it legally. So if you've seen the people that are out here threatening people and trying to dox them, feel free to send me a DM. I am currently barred in California, Nebraska, and Virginia. I am happy to file a lawsuit in any of those states pro bono. Let me know.
Here's one more lawyer with a slightly different take.
So I'm going to give you the best explanation I can. So you do have a First Amendment right to free speech, but that protects you from the government punishing your free speech within reason. Like you can't shout bomb in a crowded airport. You can't threaten to hurt government officials. That's not protected. But within reason, even if it's offensive, you can speak your mind. Government can't punish you for it. But that doesn't really apply in the employment context. Your boss, your employer, they can fire you for things you say online if they don't like them. And you don't have that First Amendment protection. You have some protections. They can't fire you for reporting harassment. They can't fire you for reporting unsafe conditions. That's protected. But if you post something about Charlie Kirk or who is to blame or what we should do about it, and they don't like that, they can let you go. And it doesn't really matter what side you're on or if it was your words or someone else's you posted. It's not going to be wrongful termination. Very rare and specific circumstances would that maybe be wrongful termination. And honestly, it's probably not you. So no one likes that answer because it necessarily implies that you don't get to speak your mind all the time. Not necessarily true. You can say what you want to say. You just have to accept that there may be financial consequences to it. But I would challenge everyone to think of one more thing. As people, as Americans, we have a responsibility to think about the impact our words have. I was not pleased with the way our government responded to last week's events. I think they made things worse, not better. We can do better, even if they're not. Think about what you're saying. Think about why you're saying it. Think about what impact you're hoping it'll have.
But here's the thing. This government is actively trying to quash dissent. This is being used by our current government as a pretext to crack down on the free press, on protest, on different ways of thinking, on pushing back against a administration bent on becoming a dictatorship. So yes, words have impact and bosses are not always going to agree with an employee's speech. The bigger picture here is this is a big coordinated doxing campaign that is quite scattershot. People who never even said anything related to Charlie Kirk's assassination are getting caught up in it, and the vile threats and comments and reports to employers are sometimes not being adjudicated within those workplaces in a fair way. But sure, using speech sometimes involves risk within one's workplace. And now, perhaps more than almost any point in American history, people need to be using their freedom of speech, need to be using their First Amendment constitutional rights to think and say whatever is on their minds, because in most cases, it is the best antidote to political violence. And it is the thing that keeps us as Americans free. This regime seems to be doing everything it can to take away that right from Americans. It's happening fast. Earlier, I shared a video from Rebecca Jones, who unfortunately has dealt with this stuff for years. She made a follow-up with some reassuring words for people who are going through this stuff for the first time.
I'm not new to online smear campaigns and harassment and threats and doxing and all that stuff. It's been going on with me for 5 years. I mean, in previous bouts of it, it was highly organized and well-funded compared to other periods of time, including now. But when I got added to the Raya Chayek Lives a TikTok Ladies hit list, I started getting a flood of not just direct messages threatening to kill me or saying various other vile, disgusting things from the tolerant right and the not violent right. But I started getting calls too, including the one that I posted earlier. And I realized, there's other people on this hit list that may not be used to this, that this is their first time being on a hit list or getting death threats or having people call their employers or whatever is happening. And that's scary the first time it happens to you. So my advice to them and to anybody else who deals with the violent rhetoric of the far right is to do your best to remind these people how small and insignificant they are. You really have to let them know that it doesn't get to you. Take whatever precautions you need to make your family safe, because families should never be subjected to this kind of violence and danger. And, call the police if it's a legitimate threat, though in this country, depending on where you live, they might not do anything about that. I'm fortunate that they are investigating, but do whatever you need to keep yourself safe. But make sure you don't let these people disturb your peace of mind, not even for a fraction of a second. Most of these are bots or paid hate accounts, and they get off on this kind of, oh, I really put that bitch in her place.
It's good advice and an important reminder that a lot of these are paid accounts or bots, and the libs of TikTok or Laura Loomers of the world in these large-scale coordinated campaigns, they're making money off of this attempt to silence free speech and the First Amendment.